Hi, welcome to True Creeps, where the stories are true and the creeps are real. We'll cover stories from grotesque gore to the possibly plausible paranormal, to horrifying history, to tense and terrible true crime, and everything else that goes bump in the night. We're your hosts, Amanda, and I'm Lindsay, and we want you to join us while we creep. We cover mature topics. Listener discretion is advised. Hey everybody, welcome to another Haunted Doll episode. And we say haunted doll with an asterisk there because there's actually no dolls, it's just haunted objects. You could consider a stuffed animal a doll though, perhaps. I think so. That counts. It's part of our haunted doll series. This is a little bit more of a silly episode because we have one of our longest true crime episodes that's going to be coming out in the next few weeks that's just been a really big lift. And so this is more of a silly episode. Yeah, that one's a lot, but it's going to be a good one. Yes. Very interesting episode. As always, Moo's snoring in the background. She's going to keep doing that. She looks very happy and content right now, though. Oh, yeah. She's straight snoozing. She has Moo. I have a snoozing kitty. Yes. Who's finally joining me. He's not here all the time. He does his own thing. Yeah, but he's quiet about what he does. He will be until he comes up and smacks my computer, as I've put on Instagram before when I'm trying to edit. And he's just like, well, fuck you. She says smacks. I'm going to just go ahead and correct that to digs. Like, two paws just like bat, 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 bat. I mean, he is digging at the screen. I'm like, I would be panicking if a cat was doing that. And luckily, he only chooses the screen that's like my old shitty screen because I have two. And he's doing claws in, I'm assuming, not like claws out. Let's fucking go. No claws. He's either doing that or he'll jump up on my tower and turn my computer off. And I put a little button protector over it so he couldn't do it. And so what he did is he dug at the button protector to take it off to make sure that he could still turn off the computer. Is it because he wants to push that button or is it because he wants to lay there and it's in his way? It's in his way. Yeah. Our cats jump up and do the same thing to Ben, except they don't really lay there. They just jump up and turn it off and then they leave. He's just as thrilled as you think he would be. Okay, are you ready for some haunted dolls? I'm ready. It's going to be good. I'm so excited. Yeah. So the first one, haunted doll in quotes, is Paul the Pocket Watch from Bastet.boutique on eBay. And so for a mere $45, that's the starting bid, Paul could be yours. And let me describe the object to you. So the spirit of Paul resides within a silver-toned, battery-operated pocket watch that has a large open-mouthed fish on the front. I think it might be a trout, but I'm not like a fish scientist, so I don't know. Oh, I was thinking bass. I'm thinking of like the bass that sings. Yeah, it kind of does look like that. But again, yeah, not a fish scientist. Unfortunately, it will not come with batteries, though, so you need to do that by yourself. Or, I mean, perhaps it'll just turn on by itself, so. Yeah. And also, you're probably not buying it for the timekeeping function, you know? Like, it's not as though Paul is battery-powered. It's the watch function of Paul. Correct. So, Paul is a male spirit that is connected to this vessel. Paul was a coal miner who passed away from black lung, so really sad. Paul is a kind, friendly, and protective spirit, so I know we've talked about like some really terrible spirits that like fuck with your dogs and stuff. Not this one. This one's fine. Most of today's are chill ones. They're friendly ghosts, if you will. Friendly spirits. Yes. Because they're not all ghosts. So he likes old music, chewing tobacco, peppermint candy, and vehicles. Who doesn't? I just want to know, like, when people sit down and they're like, okay, this watch has the spirit of Paul. I guess it could be any object, right? It's just funny that it's this. Like, when you're looking at it, you're like, okay. Oh, yeah. I mean, like, as we were perusing, when I saw this particular one, Amanda, I was like, well, there's a fish and a watch done. Like, no matter what else it says, I'm here for it. When it's open, it's very pretty. Just the watch part. It is a very pretty watch. I'm just not a fan of the big fish, but okay. I guess also because, like, pocket watches to me are like an old-timey type of jewelry. So then when it has, like, just like an open-mouth fish, it just feels out of context. To me, it's kind of like if there was a NASCAR pocket watch. Yeah. That's the energy it has. Maybe Paul really liked fish. Okay. Maybe he did. Maybe he's like, I like time and I like fish and I like fish and time. So here I am. So there's a few suggested methods of connecting with Paul once you purchase this item. One is they suggest that you hang out with Paul within the first 30 days of delivery, which like lots of them too. Hang out with him lots. If you're bringing a spirit into your home willingly, wouldn't you be ready to like, okay, I want to hang out with this person thing? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would also say like of the different haunted objects that we have talked about and are going to talk about today, like this is an easy one to have with you because it's a pocket watch. Like I would probably give someone an intrigued look if they were like, let's see what the time is and pulled out a fish pocket watch. But like it is not an unreasonable thing to have on your person.
I would then be like, Paul, what time is it?
Do you remember when there was there it might still exist, I just don't know, when you could dial a phone number to look at the time, to tell you the time?
I don't think I ever did that. I did that for like movies or banking, like to check your account.
Because they had the weather too. But no, there was a time one. You could call to see what time it was.
Oh, okay. Okay. I typically had some sort of watch, but all right. That makes sense.
I'm not a watch person.
Yeah. Wrists, right? You want to know where my watch is? It's in front of me sitting there. Like, I don't want to wear it. I just want it to exist. Maybe I do need a pocket watch.
I have lots of watches, but I just don't wear them.
Yeah. I don't like things on my wrists. But okay. So methods of connecting, another one. What they want you to do is give him treats like sweets, peppermint candy, and or tobacco.
Okay. Hear me out on this. So he enjoys tobacco, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to like put it inside the watch and like close it? Like, do you just sit it next to him? I'm assuming like if you're doing for like a witchy altar, right? Like you're going to sit it on the altar. So I would imagine you sit it near him.
Yeah.
But like if he enjoyed chewing it in his life, it's like if you were not eating sweets and somebody was like, here, I'm just going to give you this cake and put it in front of you and you can't eat it, but it's for you. Like it doesn't seem like a nice thing to do, but I guess
the thought that counts.
Ghosts like it, you know? I don't know. The thought does not count. Like if I'm like, I'm trying not to eat XYZ because I want to feel like I'm eating nutritious food and someone was like, but I'm going to put a zebra cake in front of you. I'd be like, oh, I guess I'm going to eat that zebra cake.
Is that what you want when we offer gifts to Ghost Lindsay? Zebra cake pile?
So I do, but it is very important that they are refrigerated zebra cakes. I like them cold.
Oh, what's cold?
Yeah, I know. You don't understand that concept there. We did have another round of Zillow hunting for Amanda with some promising options, though, this time around that were relatively close.
Yeah. Before we recorded, we're like, we're going to record right now. Actually, no, we're going to look at houses for an hour because I need out of this hellhole.
I'm like, hey, Ben, when are you going to be out of this room? And he's like, I'm hurrying as fast as I can. And then he leaves and I'm like, okay, Zillow.com.
Hey, we found some really good ones. A lot of suspiciously wooden ones, but some good ones too.
Always. But also, Amanda likes houses that look Victorian, which are inherently suspiciously wooden.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I want a creepy Victorian home where people are like, the weird people live there. Like, I want to be the weird people.
Perfect.
On the block. Yeah. Okay, so let's get back to Paul. So how he's described is he's likely to be kind, compassionate, and powerful, which like, okay, I like that. Seems like a cool person to have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he can manifest as thoughts, his true form. I'd be interested to see like how they describe what he looks like.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see orbs or varying colors of orbs, which, okay, because a lot of the time I'm not easily swayed by orbs. They have to like be very unique because I've also seen a lot of dust on cameras, people saying that those are orbs.
But what if you see it though, with your vision?
It depends because it's like, are you near a window? Is there lights? Is there something bouncing off of, your phone case? I don't know if it happens to you because, you live somewhere where the sun's not trying to kill you. But even like if I have my phone on my lap and Mike's driving and then he's like, why are you doing this to me? And my phone's just like moving the light into him.
Oh, but it does that all the time where he's driving, he has his phone on his lap and it's like shining into my eyes. And I'm like, can you not have that happening? I also am just of my sensory experiences, lights are always too loud for me. But I mean more like there's a floating orb in a room, not like there's a reflection of light someplace.
I'm still very suspicious normally, like, okay, what's causing it? But if I can't find it, like if I can't find a cause or I'm not near a window or there are no lights in the room, then okay, maybe.
Yeah, fair. All
right. But yeah, various orbs are connected to him. And then also the smell of tobacco or peppermint, which would be interesting in like a tobacco-free home, all of a sudden smelling tobacco.
So what's interesting is that there was a review for this particular shop where one person was like, there was a really strong smell of smoke on what I purchased. And they were like, it took me like XYZ things to get all that smell out. And I was like, wouldn't that be like a funny way of like masking that you have a a home that smells like smoke would be to say it's part of this thing. But no other reviews said that. Like, it was only one.
Yeah.
And I feel like if that was a persistent problem, people would continue to comment on it over and over, because while this is a hard object that you could presumably clean the smell of smoke off of,
Right.
if the review wasn't for this product, it was for something else. But like something that was cloth based, right? Like that smell isn't going to go away easily.
Exactly.
So I would imagine that like they would get that response over and over if it was a smoky house. So maybe like whatever it was hanging out with Paul's pocket watch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like before it was shipped.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it smelled like smoke.
Maybe, right? Well, and I will say too that this particular seller has 100% positive feedback too. And they've
Mhm.
sold 231 items. So, I mean, out of that, 100% positive,
Yeah.
it makes me believe it a little bit more, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's hard to duplicate or, have a million friends buy things to leave reviews.
Yeah. So we have another item that we're going to talk about from Best at Boutique.
Yes.
And it's what they call a haunted, paranormal, enchanted Cambion, human succubus hybrid love companion sex.
Mm.
We're going to call it a sex bracelet,
I don't know what's worse.
just because that's a really long name. And it's $50 starting bid. And it's a gold tone bracelet that it says that it would fit a 7-inch wrist or smaller. And it has the initials DBH engraved on the top. It's one of those bracelets where it's kind of like a long rectangle with a chain that's attached to either side. And so the initials are engraved on the rectangle. And then on the inside of the bracelet, it says, "With love, 1974 to 1977, Joyce." Which I think is interesting because I feel like often when you see an inscription like that, there's not like a set period of time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing to put like your anniversary date on there, but to be like, for these 3 years, I loved you. It's kind of how I read that. I don't think that's what it meant.
Oh, I meant like maybe Joyce died and someone like got it for this person and said like, we were together this, I don't know.
Really? I don't, in my head, I was like, I've loved you for those 3 years.
Just those three.
Per the seller, don't wait, don't hesitate. You'll love being a Cambion keeper. And so we looked up what a Cambion was, and apparently they're the offspring between a human and a demon. And then the demon parent could be an incubus, a succubus, or another type of demon. And the seller also said, as spirit companions, they have strong sexual presence and can often inspire your sexual energy to reach heights you were unaware were possible. They are exceptional in helping you discover the best traits within yourself and to help you feel passion from within. They encourage you in sexual acts and can provide intense, realistic, wet dreams.
I want to know who buys this.
I know. I would love to do like a Where Are They Now episode on like the things that we have, but people aren't like, let me tell you about my experience with the sex bracelet I bought, right? I just, okay, cool. No judgment. You do you. But so like Paul the Pocket Watch, the Cambion sex bracelet, you connect with it by spending time with the bracelet, so likely just wearing it. And it can manifest in the day or night as orbs, sensations of being touched, shades or dreams. And by shades, typically what people mean is like shadows out of the corner of your eye. But like, it just looks like a basic bracelet, which I find fascinating.
Yes, it does. Also, is Moo snoring way louder than usual?
Oh yeah, she is snoozing.
Okay, I was like, is there a man in your room?
Yeah. So one time, I used to live at my parents' house, and Damien came and spent the night, and he was in the guest bedroom. And I was like, oh, do you want to sleep with Moo? And he was like, sure. And so like Moo slept with him, and the next morning he was like, hey, it would have been great if you would have told me that she snores like an adult man, because I thought that there was a man in the bed with me. And I was like, oh yeah, she does. No, she's very loud today. She's very sleeping.
Yeah, she's very loud. And normally I can't hear it, but as you were talking, it was definitely there this time.
Yeah, she's honestly not tickled at all by the sex bracelet. She's going to sleep right through it.
I'm going to leave this in the episode proper too, because it got loud.
Perfect. I feel like this is a style of bracelet that it's not something that I think people would currently buy, like that particular style. I want to think I got my ex something like this.
You got them a sex bracelet?
No. Like I got him a bracelet with like an engraving thing on it.
Well, now when I see this type of bracelet, though, that's all I'm going to think of.
It absolutely looks like something you would buy from Things Remembered.
Yes, it does. That's true.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like something that I would say like an older man would be wearing.
Yes.
I would say like 50s and older, minimum. Or like I could see it on a gal if she had like a lot of bracelets. It doesn't seem like a bracelet you wear by itself.
Okay.
I don't know. That's just me though.
Okay, so again, you could buy the sex bracelet for $50.
Perfect.
So let's move on to maybe one of my favorites from today, just based off of looking at it. I think I even had this thing.
Oh, I absolutely had this thing. This is one of my favorite like batches. I say that every time, but like they're just so fucking good.
So this item, its name is Draka the Mini Demon, and it is from Mystical Smirk on eBay, which they've sold 267 items, 99.4% positive. And its full name, though, its full listing name is Haunted Doll, Active Spirit, Negative Succubus, Shapeshifter, Demonic Red Lobster. And it's important that you know it's a red lobster.
Yes. I do want to point out that when you're selling things on things like eBay or Etsy, you want to put as many keywords in the name of the title as you can, because otherwise, right, like that's how people find you. And when you have a keyword search, like so when someone searches and it matches the title, the body of what it says, and the keywords that you add, it makes it happier and you show up faster in the listings. So when people have these like very intense names, that's likely why.
Yes, correct. Well, Draka the Mini Demon is currently residing in one of the McDonald's miniature Beanie Babies, and it's the lobster one, whose name from McDonald's was Pinchers.
Love it.
Right?
So much.
And as an interesting note, someone else is selling Pinchers for $21,969.70 because he is rare. I'm pretty sure I threw mine away.
So did you collect Beanie Babies?
I didn't like collect them. It's more like I had the ones that I liked, you know, and then when you go to McDonald's for your Happy Meal,
yeah,
you got more. I did Pokemon cards and Pogs.
I was like somewhere in between, and my grandmother collected them. And I will tell you that my Nana was a bit of a hoarder. So she hoarded Beanie Babies. And when she passed, my dad was like, we always joked, but these are yours. And I was like, and my Nana, like her house kind of smelled like oil.
Oh.
Like it was a very particular smell. So they all had the smell. And I was like, oh no. And so I think they're in my parents' basement. But like someone who I know was like, no, Beanie Babies are worth a lot of money now. Like you can actually sell them if they've got like certain glitches or like factory defects. And I was like, So then my brother Chris and I were in the basement and we're like looking up like the Beanie Baby in front of us and like what the defects were. And like,
yeah.
It was like a chihuahua or something. And he was like, no, that's mine. So that's my $4,000, because it's like you look it up and it's like, yeah, someone's selling it online for that much. But does it mean it's worth that? And one of my favorite pastimes is looking at Facebook Marketplace, because I've trained the algorithm to give me strange things because it's what I would like to see.
Yes.
And the platypus one of Beanie Babies was on there, and I'm going to the listing now. I'm pulling it up because it was like, I big laughed at this because I was like, they're just like, it's worth this. One moment. Let me pass the very scary things that I've sent him. And it's Patty the Platypus, which platypus love them. But it's being sold for $850. And it's simply because it's from their grandmother's treasured collection.
Oh, okay.
Like it's not a defect. They're just like, this one's worth $850 because I said so. And I just really love that for them.
Well, then you could sell all of yours for that as well.
I mean, done. And going back to Draka the Mini Demon, Mystical Smirk does have a great many Beanie Babies that are haunted per their listings.
I mean, think of how, like you said, like how many people were collecting them, hoping that would be like their retirement later. Okay, it would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of Beanie Babies out there. So if things are being haunted or possessed, if you will, it's likely that things that there would be a lot of, you know? But I find it very interesting that there's a large population of Beanie Babies.
And also, one thing I want to say is on their seller note, it says 100% authentic mini demon. Okay.
Same.
Okay. It's just, it looks so unassuming, you know?
Yes. I mean, especially Pinchers, the mini ones. It's the mini Beanie Baby. It's not even a full-size one.
Yes.
Like, it's a little lobster. I love it.
Yes. So back to Draka. Per the seller. I forgot I have to read this part. So per the seller.
So sorry. I'm so sorry. I did the notes for some of these, and this is one that I did notes on, and I like color coded it for Amanda to say, knowing she'd have to say this, and I'm just so amused. I'm so sorry.
She's crying.
I am.
So, Draca is a sperm-sucking mini-demon in your nightmares and a sexual deviant in your dreams.
Same. Just kidding. Take that out. Take that out.
Nope. It's my edit. I do what I want.
Oh, no.
Either way, please do not let her take total control of you. She is powerful and dangerous and will suck the life out of you.
Exclamation point.
You may wake up in cold sweats and see a couple of small bite or pinch marks on you the first few nights that you have this vessel. Make sure you get tough and rough with her. What am I reading? My goodness. Oh, she loves BDSM. She also gets turned on by the smell of piss and blood. Choke her and she will pinch you back. What are people doing with this poor beanie baby?
I know.
Dominate her and she will shapeshift into an underworld little demon. Get ready for sexual elevation that you couldn't ever imagine. She can communicate via dowsing rods, spirit boards, and boxes. I recommend just using those to communicate with her.
But I mean, like, it seems like there's so many options for how you may interact with her.
But also, how did they figure this out? And then they're going to sell it?
I mean, I do think that if there is blood or piss near a stuffed animal, you should not sell it, even if there's a demon. That's just me. But when we've covered ones that had like a sexual nature before, right? Like we just talked about the sex bracelet, but I've never seen one that was like this.
But like, why would that type of demon want this little itty bitty lobster child's toy, you know?
Why not?
A little bit more about her. The seller also notes that you should burn incense, light a white candle, and present her with a gift when she gets to you to welcome her.
Same. That's what I require whenever I visit anyone's house. Is a little gift, some incense, light a candle. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Love that. So again, all of these pictures, all these photos of these objects will be on our Instagram and social media, so you can also see it.
Yeah, and this next one is literally the opposite.
Well, yeah, and again, though, if anyone wanted to purchase Draca, she is a mere $28.99 right now.
What a bargain!
Yep, she's coming all the way from New York. Yeah, that's a thing you can buy. All right. So our next haunted object is Mittens, and it's from Appalachian_Hauntings on eBay. Mittens is $59.99, and Appalachian Hauntings has sold 2 items and 100% positive. Now let's talk about what Mittens looks like. Mittens appears to be a homemade cat doll. Her main body is made up of white fabric with small red flowers, and then there is a collar and like a tummy area that is red fabric with flowers. You know what's funny is I have someone in Mike's family that has made me stuffed animals like this, but they're bats. Mm-hmm. Like, they're very cute.
Oh, yeah.
This one also has a little bit of lace around her stomach. It's cute. Her facial features are embroidered, and there's also some beige fabric spots on her cheek and ears. The beige fabric is also what her tail is made out of. And Mittens has no limbs. It's just like the tail that comes
important.
up.
But I also did like that her name was Mittens because as we've discussed, it's a classic cat name.
Yeah, it's cute. It's cute. So per the seller, Mittens is very active and gives off positive vibes. The seller has experienced feelings of love, affection, and support. I mean, with all cats, right? Mm-hmm. Well, maybe not the support, but everything else sometimes. They also started smelling baked cookies or bread and warm spices when she's around. I like this cat.
I love that.
The seller says that she is perfect for a caretaker who needs a little extra love and gives off the energy of a loving grandmother. The energy and the smell of a grandmother. I love it.
Right. What a delight. Mittens.
Super cute. And again, Mittens is $59.99.
Okay. So our last haunted object for today, but not our last thing we're talking about, is my favorite, partially because of her name. It is Champira, also from Appalachian Hauntings. And she's $49.99. And she is a clearly well-loved bright green alligator stuffed animal with a red bow around her neck. And we know she's an alligator because she's got a U-shaped snout, not a pointy one like a crocodile. And look, she has kind eyes. I don't know how else to describe it, but she does.
I do love her.
Yeah, I mean, she's just, like, I would give her a squeeze. So per the seller, pets are drawn to Champira in a good way. And the seller has experienced feelings of companionship, friendliness, laughter, and joy. And when reading the listing, it appears that Champira is the spirit of a lady alligator in an alligator stuffed animal, which we have not seen before.
No.
And I was like, okay, intriguing.
How did that alligator find this alligator?
Don't know.
I want to know the full story.
I want to know everything. But the sellers explained where they found her, which I loved. And they said they were in a secondhand store and they could feel her like positive energy and like spirit from a distance. And as they got closer, they were able to discern which thing in the store it was. And it was very clear it was her. And like she was surrounded by like non-haunted items. So it was like just her. And they were like, you, which I kind of like that.
I want to understand why they think it's an actual alligator inside this alligator, because like alligators typically do not give off those vibes.
No, and also pets are eaten by alligators. So I mean, if she is attracting them, maybe she's like, you would be a delicious snack.
Maybe.
Come hither. But apparently she's very good with kids and she likes to show off for visitors.
Okay.
Which I love. But Champira, what a treat.
Love her. Love her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's interesting is I did meet a few haunted dolls this last couple weeks. And like you can feel that presence.
I love it. I mean, I feel like when you are near a haunted object, if you are so inclined, you can notice, right? Like Patty gave off good vibes.
Oh yeah, I loved Patty. Patty was great.
Right? Patty was my favorite.
I still see her every day. Every time I look at you on Discord.
Perfect.
So when we were looking on Etsy for some of the haunted items of this week, we saw that there were a few different people who are selling readings for haunted items, which is really cool to like find out about your item.
Mm-hmm.
And in one of the listings for these types of readings, it's from Drycraft. It's DRYE Craft. So in the listing, it says, consider this. Perhaps instead of having a werewolf in your ring, you really have an incubus. Or instead of a vampire, you get a bad-tempered and very dangerous demon, one of which is not bound as it is supposed to be. Many items are not inhabited by what you expect. I both buy and conjure spirit vessels, and I psychically read what kind of energies are in and around haunted items and spirit vessels belonging to others. My 5 decades of experience as a psychic medium, spiritualist, and occultist have afforded me the privilege of unraveling such mysteries. So let's see what's going on with your haunted item and discover how you can make the most of your experience. Alternatively, I will advise on how to respectfully disengage due to an unfulfilled promise or a potential danger. And her readings are just $11.71. Very strange amount.
Isn't that specific?
Yeah.
And it seems like the reviews are like people are pleased with her, but they don't have a lot of detail. They're just like, that was an interesting time. Would do again, you know, not like giving more detail.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I've been really like down the rabbit hole on lately is pet readings.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by those.
I love them. Every time one comes up on my feed, I have to watch the whole thing. But I mean, it's very similar, right? Like pets can't talk to people and tell them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not against it. Another seller is called Favorite Haunts, all one word. And in her listing for haunted object readings, she says, I am an experienced Etsy seller and a 4th-generation psychic. I inherited my psychic gifts from both my parents and my paternal grandmother's family. I am very skilled at psychometry, which is the ability to read the item's history and to learn about its former owners by picking it up, or in my case, by seeing photos of it. I am also extremely skilled in connecting to spirits and spirit attachments. I am experienced in reading all kinds of haunted dolls, haunted toys, haunted jewelry, haunted artifacts and curiosities, antiques, and modern. Please note, I am an honest seller with more than 35 years of experience. If you purchase a reading, but I do not pick up any spirit attachment, I will refund your money after I've examined your photos and the information that you send me. I enjoy that. Like if she's like, I don't get anything from this.
Yeah.
Her readings are $60. And from the reviews from her readings, they are pretty detailed and people seem genuinely thrilled with the results of the readings. So
yeah,
I love that.
I do too. What I like is like in the reviews, people are like, Kathleen was so amazing, because that's her name. And they give actual particular details of like what was good about the reading, which I was like, okay, I like that, because if it's $60 compared to $11.71, seeing how excited people are, you know, I'm sure both are good.
Yeah, I mean, she has 5 stars out of 457 reviews, so
Yeah, that's pretty good.
love that.
Also, while searching Etsy for haunted dolls generally, we saw that there is a seller named Exquisite Nightmares on Etsy that is selling a haunted doll workbook and journal. It's $23 and it's an actual physical workbook. And per the listing, the first part of the book is a step-by-step workbook for you to complete regarding the characteristics, behaviors, testing, history, and information regarding your doll. And it's a comprehensive guide in discovering in-depth details of your individual doll, your relationship to the doll, memorizing special moments, photos, and autographs of visitors and participants. And then the second part is like blank pages for you to basically journal your experiences with it. I just thought that was really interesting. People in the reviews were like, oh, I'm going to get one of these each time I get something new so that I can keep it all organized. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting way of just making sure you're like cataloging like your experiences and what happened so you don't forget.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really neat.
Yeah.
So those are our objects of today, and how to get some readings and, you know, use a new workbook
Yeah.
to journal your new haunted object.
As always, we'll have the links in our show notes as well.
Of course, yes. And we'll have the pictures up on our social media so you can, you know, see these great finds or purchase them for yourself if you want them. Lindsay and I mean, we've talked about it a lot in our Villisca episode and in our Malvern episode, but we had a great time with Patty, and I truly believe something is with Patty.
Oh, I definitely do too. Patty was a chill gal. Like, I still don't want any haunted dolls in my house, but if I was going to have to hang out with a haunted doll, it's Patty.
For sure. For sure. I miss Patty. And so we are nearing official spooky season, but we're in it. The last major holiday has passed. The next one is Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And our podiversary is coming up in October. So if you have any type of spooky, weird, scary, life-changing story, we want to hear about it. And if you do want to share your story with us, head to truecreeps.com and click on submit your story. It'll have all the details there of how to submit. You can type it, or we're happy to have your beautiful voice on the show. But we will be sending everyone that participates this year a special limited edition sticker. We've already gotten a couple submissions and they've been great. So I'm so excited to make this episode coming up in October.
Yeah. Also, should you encounter any haunted object on the internet, feel free to send it to us if you want us to include it in another episode.
Oh, yeah.
Or tag us if you find them. You can just at True Creeps or True Creeps Pod, depending on the social media. We'll tell you which of those it'll be in our outro, which will play in just a moment or so. And with that, have a great weekend.
Thanks for creeping with us.
Thanks for listening. And as always, a special thank you to our patrons who support us via Patreon.
Please see the link in our show notes to learn more about how you, yes you, can begin to haunt the dump, guard vortexes, or even become a scorching Sasquatch.
Ooh. Also in our show notes, you can find the link to our website, more information on our sources, our social media handles, and our merch store.
We'd love for you to keep creeping with us. So if you like this episode, please subscribe, rate, review, and share the show with your fellow creeps and or ghosts.
I beg of you.
Why do I need that?
I winked at him. And he went to close the door. Theodore.
Theodore, we need to leave. We need to leave this place. No, Tiny Cat. No.
Oh my gosh, all the animals are running in.
I'm putting that at the end.
Perfect. When I winked at him, he went to close the door and then all the cats ran in. I like time and I like fish. And I like fish and time. So here I am.